There's a couple things this week that are annoying me.
You don't love this news?
That I want to talk about. Let's start with the FDA ruling on nicotine and on Juul.
Yeah, so two pieces here. This like came out of nowhere. I had no idea.
They're separate stories, but we're putting them together.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously related. So the first piece is, I did two when I meant to do one. The first piece is.
Okay, Herschel Walker.
The Biden administration signaled Tuesday it will develop a proposed rule to establish a maximum nicotine level in cigarettes and other tobacco products that will essentially lower the amount of nicotine in products available in the U.S. The reason they say is they're doing this in an effort to reduce people's addiction to smoking and give people a better shot at quitting. This is per the CNN article. Reducing the amount of nicotine in these products was also likely prevent people from starting smoking. So that's number one, is they are moving to limit and reduce the amount of nicotine in cigarettes and other tobacco products. Number two, and I know this one hits close to home. This is from the FDA's announcement. We're recording this on Thursday, by the way. Today, the U.S. FDA issued marketing denial orders, never heard of that before, to Juul Labs, Inc. for all of their products currently marketed in the U.S. As a result, the company must stop selling and distributing these products. They say, this is their rationale, today's action is further progress on the FDA's commitment to ensuring that all e-cigarette and electronic nicotine delivery system products currently being marketed to consumers meet our public health standards. According to the FDA commissioner, the agency has dedicated significant resources to review products from the companies that account for most of the U.S. market. We recognize these make up a significant part of the available products, and many have played a disproportionate role in the rise in youth vaping. So if you're wondering why they singled out Juul specifically, this is their rationale, is because it's Juul's fault that there's been a rise in youth vaping.
So they had previously banned the fruity flavors, correct? And then now they're banning even the non-fruity flavors from Juul.
All of them.
From Juul specifically.
Yes.
Now, there are a million other types of e-cigarettes out there, but they're leaving those alone and they're just going after Juul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's like 1,000 ways in which this doesn't make sense. If you're so concerned about kids vaping, well, make the minimum age whatever you want it to be to stop the kids from vaping and then enforce those laws.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you have to take it away from everybody else.
Also, and not just enforce those laws on the kids, but also enforce it on the companies that are marketing to kids.
By the way, okay, now let's get to my first controversial pick.
Yeah.
Not buying the whole the children shit, because I'm a grown-ass man, 34 years old, and what do I have right here? There's a little blue Raz flavored vape. Ready for this? What else I got here? Oh, look, it's a little sour apple flavored vape. Oh, what's this one here? Cranberry grape flavored vape. Adults like this shit too. I go to the vape store and there's 70-year-old dudes who walk in there who are like, yeah, let me get the double cherry crush one, please. So this idea of like, it's just about the kids. Again, if your concern is kids, I don't want kids vaping either. There is an age where it's too young to vape, obviously. Okay, well, draw the line wherever you want to draw the line. I would argue like 16 or 18 or something like that. And then just enforce those laws. That's it.
Right.
Find the places that sell to underage kids. Find them enough of an amount that disincentivizes them from selling it to the kids. So I don't understand that at all. I also don't understand the logic of just going after Juul, because I have 3 different vapes here. None of these are Juul. The vape store that I go to, I don't see many Juul products in there. It's packed full of all the other stuff. But it does make you wonder, are they coming next for all different kinds of vapes? Because they banned flavored cigarettes a while ago under the same logic. Oh, what about the kids? As if like an adult who smokes cigarettes can't enjoy like a fucking pineapple flavored cigarette or some shit. I was against that. I'm against this as well. And I do think this is a slippery slope. And to your other point on what they did with nicotine, that also makes absolutely no sense. All people are going to do is smoke more to get the same amount of nicotine. It's actually going to have the opposite of the effect they say they want. And nicotine's not the problem in cigarettes, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not. The problem is the hundreds of carcinogens. Nicotine is not a carcinogen, and it's not one of the problems. It's one of the things that's addictive, absolutely, but it's not the real problem are the carcinogens in the cigarette. So for you to reduce, what you should be doing is reducing the number of carcinogens and keeping the nicotine level the same.
Well, and this is the other thing that's, we'll call it inconsistent, is like Roundup weed killer is a known carcinogen that you can is still readily available, still can go out and get it. And so they're very lax about most of the chemicals that people are exposed to. You're basically, the burden of proof is on the consumer to sort of prove that this is toxic and this is going to be a problem. There's a huge hurdle, which is different from how European countries do it. But then you're just like randomly going to single out this one maker. It doesn't make much sense.
Honestly, this is what pisses people off about the government. So we have this concept, this idea of like the nanny state, and people usually use it as a pejorative. I actually think there's two different versions of the quote unquote nanny state. One of them is very good, one of them is very bad. The nanny state that I would like is if the government gave everybody health care and said, hey, we're going to take care of you. The government gave everybody free college and said, hey, we're going to take care of you. The government gave you a UBI and said, you know what, you can get $1,000 a month. You might need that.
Yeah.
That would be a good nanny state. The bad nanny state is we live in a system right now where on none of your actual material needs does the government help you, but then they turn around and try to stop you from doing shit that might hurt you, even if you want to do it free of your own volition.
Right.
That, like, fuck off with that. That's why I've always said I'm what I would call a libertarian leftist. Libertarian on social issues, leftist on economic issues. That means when it comes to your private life, live and let live. You do whatever the fuck you want. You want to put your balls in a vice grip? Go ahead. I don't give a fuck. It's not my thing. But if that's what makes you happy, I don't want the government saying, oh, that's very dangerous to your testicles, and maybe we should come up with some new rules to make sure that you don't hurt your balls in that vice grip. Piss off, piss off, piss off. This is overreach. If you want to regulate cigarettes to make them less dangerous, fair enough. But reduce the carcinogens, leave the nicotine level the same. What's going to happen now is people are going to smoke more to get the same amount of nicotine. It's like when Bloomberg banned the big gulps.
The sodas.
It's like, yeah, okay, you get two of the smaller ones, you fucking prick. What's wrong with you? This is not how you address problems. It's this moral busybody stuff, but it's a broken. They have a broken moral meter. Like they're outraged at all the wrong things.
Right, and then also, if they really cared about people's health, then maybe they would support things like Medicare for all instead of Biden saying outright that if it even came to his desk, he would veto it. So it's very strange. It's very selective. It's very sort of patronizing. And obviously, as a leftist who, wants the war on drugs to end and thinks that drugs should be legalized and decriminalized, I put nicotine, I put alcohol certainly in the same category. I would treat them exactly the same as I would treat other drugs.
That's a great point. Why is it that almost everybody, I don't know, maybe there's like 5% that don't agree with this, but like 95% of people on the left would immediately be like, we got to end the drug war. We have to, effectively, people say legalize weed.
Legalize weed.
Some people say legalize, tax, and regulate everything. So everybody understands that doesn't mean drugs are good for you. There's plenty of drugs that are very bad for you. But there's this idea, there's this notion of like, hey, if you are choosing free of your own volition to make some bad decisions and put some substances in your body that might hurt you now or hurt you in the long run, that's a decision that an adult gets to make. But suddenly, when you change the topic to like cigarettes or vape, now that's like, no, we need to go in there and control you as much as possible.
Because you've seen some lefties supporting this, right?
Yeah, I've seen some things on Twitter that were like, very smugly saying, what's with the pro-smoking left, the pro-cigarette left? Cigarette is poisonous. It's like, yeah, everybody knows it's fucking poisonous, and some people still choose to smoke in the same way. Everybody knows alcohol is poison.
Very bad for you.
People choose to fucking take 6 shots of tequila sometime on Friday night.
I feel like
how about you piss off out of our private lives?
There's
How about
also
that?
some classism in that too, because people who are like working class or who are lower income more likely to smoke, and so there's always these weird like classist and racist judgments about people's particular vices, where what you deem to be really bad and really out of bounds and need to be cracked down on often depends less on how bad that substance actually is versus your perception of where that substance falls in like the social hierarchy.
That's so true. And let me just break it down for everybody in as simple terms as possible. This is like the broader view of it all. There are libertarian leftists and there are authoritarian leftists. Authoritarian leftists like to do stuff like micromanage what you put in your body, and like to control speech and want social media to crack down on free speech. That would be authoritarian leftism. Libertarian leftism says, live and let live. You do whatever you want. Even if it does end up hurting you, you have the choice to do that. But the leftist portion of it is the economic portion of it and perhaps the foreign policy portion of it. But in terms of the social issues, I mean, I really don't like, I don't know how long ago this happened, but there was a time, maybe a couple decades ago, where leftists started moving away from like social libertarianism and freedom, embracing freedom, and they started moving towards like, no, I'm going to try to enforce what is right and wrong to you in your personal life. And I just don't like that. And, I used to argue back in the day, authoritarianism by definition is right-wing. That's clearly not the case because there are lefties who are saying this is a good thing. Or, I've heard it from lefties ban cigarettes. Look, I'm in favor of regulating them to make them less shitty, but I would never ban cigarettes. People should be, are you kidding me? People live lives where they're busting their ass and working overtime and they're struggling. And the one little piece of happiness that they get that they've decided makes them feel a little bit better, you're going to step in and say, no, that's bad for you. I'm not going to let you do it. Fuck off, man. Hell no.
Yeah.
That is not my kind of leftism.
We're not going to, now this isn't for the lefties, but for the liberals, but we're not going to do anything to like make your life easier. So maybe you don't feel like you necessarily need that or to be able to promote healthier activities or promote your health in other ways that would be, sponsored and supported by the state. We're just going to like pick on these few little pleasures that you have in your life.
Yeah. I want the government to support people economically. I want there to be a strong social safety net and universal programs. But also, as a matter of principle, I wouldn't want to micromanage anybody's private life. Yeah. And they could use whatever vice they want to use, and that's the end of it. And so I'll end the segment by doing this. Beautiful. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.